10.
Hello, wrestling fans across the globe. This is a new episode of the 10 Count Podcast. I am your host, Kyle Crosby, alongside my broadcast colleague, Michael Malley, a.k.a. Maggle. And today, we have a very special guest on the line, Mr. Billy Manning. How you doing, Billy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Can't complain, buddy. Lots of great shit happened in the world of WWE.
Certainly did.
It was a great WrestleMania, in my opinion. It was full of surprises, and Raw and SmackDown were equally as surprising and entertaining this week.
I have something to say, though. This has actually been one of my favorite WrestleManias. I'm going to have to say that because, I mean, we all have our favorites. Mine was the ending to WrestleMania 20 with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit embracing with the confetti coming down. I don't know, what are your guys' favorite WrestleMania moments, or favorite WrestleMania?
Well, I would say this one was good, but I would say 31 just because I had all the nostalgia matches. You had Sting as Triple H, and you had Taker and Bray. Like, to me, that was a dream card come to life.
I'll have to say 31 as well. Seth Rollins is my guy. I've always liked Seth Rollins. When he was Tyler Black, and seeing him come out and cashing in that Money in the Bank it just shocked the fuck out of me, to be honest.
That's saying something, actually, because I would always picture yours as the Macho Man versus...
That was the only match in there that made it great. I like 31 because that is who The Undertaker was supposed to face at WrestleMania 30, Bray Wyatt. That was a great feud to have, but no, they gave it to Brock at WrestleMania 30, and he lost. Also, a loser at WrestleMania 33, but a winner in all of our hearts, the Dead Man, The Undertaker. Rest in peace, Dead Man. Billy, what was your reaction to seeing Roman Reigns come out this Monday and getting all of that hate and just saying those little bit of words?
Well, first we have to go back to WrestleMania. I was in a room full of wrestling fans, and everyone was just dead silent for about 15, 20 seconds. It was kind of like he'd already lost the streak, but the reaction he got, man, I'll be honest, I've always been a Rowan fan. If it wasn't for him facing Taker, anybody else I've been cheering for him, but when him was facing Taker, that was just brutal. I think he handled the abuse he got. I think he took it in stride, but honestly, I wasn't one of those people that was mad at him for ending. It would have been different, I think, had Taker's streak still been intact with the fact that he already lost. And, Taker wanted to go out on his back rather than go out and just say, well, I'm injured, I have to retire. And honestly, I don't know who else on the roster I'd rather see him face. I mean, AJ Styles would have been a good one, but I just don't know if AJ could have taken the heat like Roman could. Roman could take that heat. I
fully agree with you, Billy. Who I felt that Taker should have had his last retirement match with was Cena. I actually thought it should have been Cena, considering Taker's the one who shook his hand after his first match with Angle and Welcome to the Yard, and I thought that would have been a great closer for Taker. Despite our feelings towards Cena, that would have been a good farewell.
It would have also saved me from vomiting all over my floor and sofa when Cena proposed to Nikki Bella.
Fucking bullshit!
And let the fans at home know that last week's podcast, we made a bunch of predictions, myself and Maggle, and I was absolutely wrong on most of them. And one of the things I was wrong about was Naomi. That chick came into WrestleMania in her hometown and swiped the floor with all the female talent.
Were you wrong about that?
I was wrong about that. I said that they wouldn't give it to Naomi right off the bat because she just gave it up. Do you think it was wise to keep that women's match the second to last match on the WrestleMania card?
I'm going to say no. I picked Naomi to win, by the way, because a lot of times I can see why you guys didn't. So a lot of times the hometown person loses because they build that hype and then they lose in their hometown. With Naomi, I don't think that should have been second to last. I think they should have had Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, and Nia next to last. I felt like the SmackDown's match should have been early. I felt like the match for the Women's Championship of Raw was too early in the show. I think that should have switched spots because it was originally going to be on the pre-show, the SmackDown's Women's match. They changed it, but I thought, well, that'd be a good opener. They opened with Shane and AJ, which was fine. But I think that, honestly, the way there really wasn't much build to that SmackDown's Women's match. The Raw Women's match would go more. I felt like that match should have been a little bit longer, too. The Raw one, at least. So I think they were unwise in doing that. I mean, the card was still good, but I just thought it was weird that they waited
Also, it kind of felt like that Divas match was kind of like a 7th inning stretch in a way. It felt like it was just like, okay, we're gonna take a little break to get ready for the main event, the Big Dog versus the Undertaker, and I don't know. I had it was a great WrestleMania, but the card was really wacky to me.
The way the card was laid out was weird. Going into each match, I think the hype was built up enough. That's why this WrestleMania, in my opinion, is one of the best. As well as some surprise returns. The main one being the Hardy Boys. I'm thoroughly excited to see the Hardys back. A little upset that they're not going to take the broken gimmick yet. I'm guessing that Vince and company have plans for them up until a certain time, and then they'll bring in the broken gimmick.
Dude, you have no idea. I about lost my voice. Whenever New Day came out, I was like, okay, New Day's going to be my match. They said one more team was coming out, and then the Hardy Boys come out. I lost my crap. I mean, I didn't know what to think. I saw the Hardys. I thought they were going to come back, because I heard they had possibly signed a deal with WWE, but I didn't think they'd come back at WrestleMania that early and win the ladder match. I mean, the Hardy Boys, honestly, other than Demolition, New Day, of course, I would say, though, Hardy Boys one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I put might have there with Legion of Doom and Demolition and the Dudley Boys for me.
It was such a huge pop over here between me and Maggle. We were screaming as soon as we heard the music start hit. And we were so excited, screaming, jumping up and down. And, I mean, I didn't think they would win it. Such a nostalgia trip seeing Jeff jump off that ladder onto those other ladders.
He got right into it. It was like not even 5 minutes into the match, and he was like, all right, I'm going to get the biggest fucking ladder, and I'm going to swanton on these assholes.
He didn't lose a step. He has not lost a step. Matt, on the other hand, he's bow-legged like a motherfucker, but he can still keep up.
I just love that he still has that broken smile, and people are still shouting obsolete and delete, and it's kind of weird because it kind of looks like a Nazi thing, but but it was like really cool just to see like Matt like pseudo using that broken gimmick and the smile. And
we had some more debuts from NXT this past week on Raw and SmackDown. Ty Dillinger, The Revival, Shinsuke Nakamura, and let's not forget the returning Finn Balor. Billy, what is your reaction to Mr. Nakamura's debut on SmackDown?
Oh my God, that has to be the moment of the week. Like, Miz and Maurice were doing their segment where they were making fun of Cena and Nikki, and that violin just starts coming out and starts playing that song, and I'm like, holy crap, Shinsuke is going to debut. Like, he stole the show in NXT. I compare him, the only way I can compare him is, to me, he is the Japanese Chris Jericho. He is that big of a star. That charisma he carries, hardly anybody has that way. He's one of those two guys, when that music hits and he walks out, he owns that arena for that moment. There's nothing like it, and I would like to see that guy live. I know he's just joined the SmackDown roster. I've never been to an NXT show, actually. I need to get to one. I need to get to a show soon to see Shinsuke, because to me, I think him and Styles could tear down the house in the main event of the pay-per-view. That's a main event. WrestleMania main event, in my opinion, Shinsuke against AJ Styles.
I know Kyle has had a little bit of his doubts on the main roster as garnishing the kind of the speed that they want him to have, or I feel like he has in NXT. How do you guys think that Shinsuke's going to hold up? Because it's been formidable. It's been known that Japanese wrestlers don't do so well. I mean, you look at Kenzo Suzuki, you look at Tajiri, you look at a lot of these Japanese superstars, and they don't live up to the hype that they build, or it's just Vince's shitty booking. But how do you think Shinsuke's going to hold up?
I hope the best for Shinsuke Nakamura. I absolutely love the guy. He's a great entertainer, great performer in the ring. However, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't think they'll do the right thing with Nakamura. This is Triple H basically handing NXT's golden child to Vince. I think that they're going to run Nakamura to the ground, but I hope I'm wrong. I mean, Billy, I agree with you. I think that Nakamura and AJ should definitely main event a pay-per-view. I think that talent like Tajiri, Kenzo Suzuki, and even to an extent Hideo Itami, they've been held down, partly because of their lack of speaking English. Tajiri can't speak English very well, and the mic skills, though, on Nakamura are improving. And he can speak English well enough that people can understand him. And that is the biggest point, considering that you're broadcasting to millions of people globally, and the majority of them are in the United States. They might even put him with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman has said in interviews that Paul Heyman will have more associates after Lesnar. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a Nakamura.
Well, I mean, they did the violin piece. They didn't really do anything. He didn't come out and wrestle or anything. I think it's a good start, but I don't know. I kind of doubted they were going to use AJ Styles, right? The talent he has. You're talking about Kenzo Suzuki. I don't know. I really didn't know much about him when he debuted. Tajiri was good, and he came in. He did kind of do a few things, but you're right. Them not being able to speak English, that was holding back. But I think Shinsuke has this star power we haven't seen before from Japanese star. Like so he comes out, it's like he just owns the arena, and I think he's up there with AJ Styles as far as competitive ability. I think what they need to do, see, back in the day, man, that's why I like NXT. You're going to the 90s promos, where your promo is minute, 2 minutes, you say what you have to say, and then you let all your talking happen in the ring. That's why I think they need to do that with Shinsuke, and they need to start doing that on the main roster, too, is let Triple H come say, hey, look, guys, we've been running these promos, other than videos, those last longer, but our promos, if you watch, it might be 5 minutes if it's like a big feud, but I mean, like you get out there, you say what you have to say, you go to the ring and let your wrestling do the talking. I think Shinsuke, as long as he is allowed to go out there and just compete, he doesn't really have to. I mean, they'll have to work on his mic a little bit, but I think that it won't hold him back. I think the fan support he has is going to carry him through. I think that's the same problem with Asuka. Her English is okay, but I think they're waiting on a while for her too, because they're trying to figure out, okay, how do we use a Japanese star on the main roster? But I think they will use Shinsuke right. It just might take a little bit longer than we want. I give it a year, though. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say I give it a year, and he's going to be the SmackDown World Heavyweight Champion.
It's a bold statement.
One debut that I don't think there's any critique or any negative thoughts are is the debut of the Revival.
Oh, the Revival.
No flips, just fists.
I love when a team or a person debuts and they're heel and still the crowd goes nuts and cheers for them, and just the way they react to it. It was great seeing the Revival come out and get that win.
That was my biggest shock of the week, was the Revival, because of all the tag teams, I didn't think that the Revival was quite there yet. And the way they put him up against the New Day.
Man, the Revival's a good team. They had that hell of a match on TakeOver, and they tore down the house. I honestly was kind of hoping to see DIY debut on SmackDown, because I feel like that the Raw tag team divisions got stronger, where SmackDown kind of needs another team or two to balance them out. I mean, they brought in the Headbangers for a short time, but I think DIY would be good there. But I will say the Revival, what they're able to do is just ridiculous, and I think they're going to be up there with I think they're going to be competing with Gallows and Anderson and New Day quite a bit. I don't know, man. I kind of got a bad taste in my mouth for Gallows and Anderson. I don't feel like they're using them right. Whereas with the Revival, I feel like they need to kind of watch that. They beat the New Day, which is really good, because New Day is one of the most over teams. I'm just hoping that they use them right, because the NXT teams that have come up, like the Vaudeville and the Ascension, were not really used right or to their full potential. I feel like that the Revival, I'm worried that the same thing might happen with Gallows and Anderson. I don't think they're using them to their full potential, but I think that with the right booking, the Revival could be one of the better tag teams we've seen in a while. I'm just kind of hoping we get to see DIY eventually debut on SmackDown or somewhere on there, just to strengthen the tag team division there.
Taking DIY away from NXT right now would be very, I think, detrimental. They don't have that many teams that really can, the upper team. I mean, NXT is all about building, so maybe they can make a team out of sanity. I was very shocked to see Killian Dane in Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Was also shocked that Mojo Rawley won that damn Battle Royal.
What?
I can't believe they did that. Damn it. Like, Sami Zayn could have used that push. Braun Strowman could have used that push. Mojo Rawley? Really? I guess I'm just not that big of a Mojo Rawley fan. It was cool to see Gronk in the ring. I like Gronk. He's a cool dude. But not a fan of Mojo. And I'm not happy that he won.
We were talking about Mojo was in my top 3, so I don't have any. Because I felt.
I know you're a Mojo head. You stay hyped.
I'm hyped. I am hyped.
You stay hyped.
I am hyped.
Please shut the hell up!
No, but I dug it because he's a good fighter. He's a powerhouse, and he's fast for a big guy. I feel like he's gonna be on SmackDown for a while, but and probably in the lower tier, like maybe Intercontinental Championship in maybe like a year and a half. But I feel like he has potential. So I totally dug it. I mean, it's different.
It's different, but I thought that other people deserved that push instead of him, you know?
Hey, I thought Samoa Joe should have been in there, but he wasn't even involved in WrestleMania.
He didn't have anything to do with WrestleMania, and we had a little segment on what is Samoa Joe's role in WrestleMania. And literally, the word nothing never came to our mind.
Big fan of Samoa Joe, man. I watched him in TNA and now WWE. I think that they're using him well. He plays a really good heel. He can be a face, but I think that's the thing a lot of people get mad at is some guys or women, they're better with the heel role because it gives them more character. You guys were talking about Mojo Rawley too. I was okay with him winning the Battle Royal. Sami Zayn was my first pick because Braun was Sami Zayn. I felt like Sami Zayn deserved the push, I think, but he's going to get the next stage. Bryan, I think, is he's going to kind of get pushed down so many times before the fans finally say that's enough, and then Sami will step up. But Mojo needs more character. That's all he needs. I think he has the talent in ring, like Michael was saying, but I don't think he has that character build he needs. He's getting the Zack Ryder treatment. He's not getting the right character build right now, and I think he'll get there. I think Samoa Joe, however, has already got the right character build. It's more of, okay, what are their long-term story plans? Because he just kind of nowadays seems to be Triple H's lacking. I'm hoping that they do something else with Joe because we've seen what he can do. The guy went toe-to-toe with Kurt Angle on TNA and puts on some good matches. I'm just hoping that guys like him and Owens and Rollins all keep competing with each other and bring each other to that next level.
I totally dig the fact that he's going to be in this new stable with Triple H and Kevin Owens. What's next for KO?
Kevin Owens, I don't know, man. Right now, he just won the U.S. title. I think he can bring value and meaning to the U.S. title again, kind of like whenever Cena used to do the Open Challenge. I think Kevin Owens will be a great U.S. champion. He'll be back in the world title picture eventually, but I kind of like that they're trying to rotate champions a little bit. Do I like the fact that Brock has the title? I'm okay with it, but he's not my first pick to have it, but he's believable as a champion. I think KO could actually put on a good match with Brock if given the chance because he's a bigger dude. He could probably take some German suplexes, kick out an F5 or two, and give Lesnar a few power bombs and at least put up a fight against Brock. I don't know for KO, man. I think that he's going to have that U.S. title for a while. I think if he can have it for 6 months or so, give some legitimacy to the title, and then kind of go on from there, I think that's the best move for him right now.
You know, I'm a full-on Kevin Owens fan. I love Kevin Owens. I have like 2 of his T-shirts. But I really don't know if I like this idea of having these heavyweight champions go back. Because after what we saw with Roman and how he kind of threw away the championship, even though he had it, it makes me kind of feel like unless they bring something new like Cena did with the Open Challenge every week or something different, I feel like it's kind of a throwaway. I feel like it's just for them to hold on to until they can get the belt back. So that's one of my biggest problems with this U.S. title reign. And Owens, I'm glad he has a belt, but in some ways it kind of delegitimizes the U.S. title, and I feel like maybe someone like Zayn or someone else should be going up for it. But then again, you know what? That's now a potential. We could see Zayn and Owens again, and actually in WWE pay-per-view.
Kevin Owens is #mychampion. I love him toting that U.S. championship because guess what?
What?
He is one title away from being a Grand Slam champion. All he needs is that damn tag team title. Intercontinental, United States, and Universal champion.
Him and Joe as tag team champions.
That's it. He has his partner. All you got to do is destroy Matt and Jeff Hardy, like powerbomb them from the top of the Titantron or whatever they have now to make a stellar moment. And then they take it. And then Kevin Owens is a Grand Slam champion. Woo! Probably the fastest to do it, too. To come into this company and win those 4 titles, it would be insane. This brings us to our segment of the week, Superstar of the Week.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, we're going to start with you, Billy. For Raw, we had so much shit happen this past week with WrestleMania and Raw. Who would you possibly give the Superstar of the Week to?
Normally I would say Sasha Banks. That's my favorite wrestler on the roster because they did get a win. However, I'm going to be honest, not looking past my favorite, which I try to do. Finn Balor, his return was huge, and I think he adds a lot more dimension and depth to the roster. So I have to give Superstar of the Week on Raw to Finn Balor, just what he can do. And that coup de grace, man, that looks legit. I mean, every time he hits that thing, you're just sitting there holding your chest like, oh my God.
That is one of the best finishers in the wrestling industry today. I absolutely go crazy every time I see him go to that top rope. Maggle, who do you got for Raw?
Can I give it to the fans that booed the Roman? Because they slayed him. They really took him down.
Roman Reigns took an absolute beatdown. Let's hear it in the memoriam section of this show for Roman Reigns' pride.
But seriously, I would probably give it to the Revival.
Say yeah!
Stellar debut by the Revival. Stellar, absolutely stellar. I was going to give it to Finn, but since you gave it to Finn, I'll give it to my next, and it's going to be Mr. Lesnar.
Let's do this!
Brock Lesnar did something this past Sunday at WrestleMania that not a lot of people can say. He had an average, and I'd say a decent match with Goldberg. And wow, everyone, it lasted longer than 2 minutes.
That's what she said.
I will give it to Brock Lesnar. For Smack Diggity Down, Billy, who are you going to give that coveted Superstar of the Week plaque to?
That one's even harder because Shinsuke debuted. But you know what? I'm going to rate SmackDown a perfect 10, and I'm giving it to Ty Dillinger. Whenever they said I'm going to count to 10, Ty Dillinger coming out was the icing on the cake, man. That had to be the Superstar of the Week for me, was Ty Dillinger debuting and getting a win on his first match.
Oh, it's like WWE licked a golden magical amulet that just gives them the power to make good booking this week, because it was a beautiful way to bring in the perfect 10, the theme song to this podcast, Ty Dillinger into the WWE universe. 10. Maggle, who you gonna give it to?
That's a really, really tough one. Because just like Billy said, I really want to give it to Shinsuke, but all he did was do an entrance, which was spectacular. I'm so glad that they did a live violinist and they did all that. That was so cool. But you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna give it to Shinsuke. That was solid, man.
I'm gonna have to give it to Naomi. She won the women's title in her hometown at WrestleMania and then comes back on Tuesday and defends it. I feel the glow, man. I love it. It's like a hit of LSD every time she comes on the screen. It's great.
I like Naomi. I'm glad she won at WrestleMania. I'm glad she won in her hometown. That was pretty dope.
Another thing that was very surprising at WrestleMania for you, Maggle, was that Bayley came off with a win. I wanted Bayley to win. I thought that she would, but I had to end up picking Charlotte because it seemed obvious that Charlotte was going to come away with the victory at WrestleMania. However, she didn't. I am thrilled that Nia Jax was eliminated rather quickly.
Man, okay, let me just say, I no longer call them women's wrestling versus regular wrestling. They have redefined wrestling, in my opinion, overall. They got in their Hell in a Cell and tore it down with Sasha and Charlotte. Okay, let's start with all four. Nia Jax, powerhouse, very strong. However, no character right now. They need to give her some character. If they did that, I could get behind her. Charlotte does a great job as a heel because when I see her on TV, I don't dislike her personally. I just dislike her. I like to boo her because she's a villain. She makes you want to go, oh my God, why are you still champion? But she's great. One of the best athletes they have. Bayley has a lot of star power. I think she is good, but I think sometimes they misuse her. She is the underdog. I was okay with her winning, and she did deserve the win. I felt like the match was rushed to WrestleMania. However, my favorite is Sasha Banks, and I felt like she should have won WrestleMania just because she has not got that WrestleMania moment yet. She has not won WrestleMania, although I consider her the best, just because her passion for the business.
I am a huge Sasha Banks fan. I like the entrance she came out to at WrestleMania as well. And the truck, that gangster truck, old 1920s. Like I said, I like Charlotte. You know, she's got everything going. She's nature boy lineage.
Woo! She's awesome. She's a great villain. And she brings this very, like, almost Bobby Roode, like, status to it. Like her dad, very grand.
And that is all the time we have today, fans. And I would like to give a special thank you to our guest, Mr. Billy Manning. Thank you for offering your insights into the wrestling world.
Bye, thanks for having me, guys.
Join us next week for an all-new episode of the 10 Count Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to Channel D Productions. Watch the videos, they're hilarious and entertaining. And let us know if you can guess the theme song at the end of the podcast. Last week's theme was Steve Mongo McMichael from the Four Horsemen back in WCW. Join us next week for an all-new episode of the 10 Count Podcast.
Kyle, hit that bell.